So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to talk about 3 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now the stories I wanted to cover today includes an update on the PS5 input latency news we covered a while back, God of War Ragnarok story details, and a possible new trailer this week, and big events happening this week. There's a lot going on this week, we'll cover that as well. First, what's your current hype level for God of War Ragnarok from 1 to 10. I'm personally at a 9 right now. I just need the release date announcement to happen, and I'll hit that 10, and a full gameplay walkthrough state of play to hit that 11. And as we get closer to launch, I'll be at somewhere at 20 possibly. But that's just my situation. What about you guys? So comment below from 1 to 10. What is your current hype level for God of War Ragnarok? Let me know down in the comments below. Now diving into the first story of the video, multiple events this week. During the summer, every year we usually have some of the biggest events, gaming events happening this time of the year. Pre-CV era, this time period was known as E3. You'd have the main E3 showcase. I know E3 still existed during this period, but it wasn't what it was before. Before we had events with Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, along with major publishers holding their own events like EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda, etc. The live events were something else that can't be matched elsewhere. It was the cringe compilations every year were always fun too. Those times are pretty much gone in the sense of E3 season. That's been switched over to Summer Games Fest. At this point, it seems more so than ever, with no E3 actually happening this year. No digital event, nothing E3 related happening this year, but instead of it, we have Summer Games Fest. Summer Games Fest was also placed, the banner was also placed on the PlayStation State of Play last week, which I don't think I've seen before. I know State of Play has been a part of Summer Games Fest, but this time around it's being labeled as Summer Games Fest, and that continues this week. Just as a reminder for people interested, let's go over the events happening this week. June 9th is a pretty big day. We start off the day with the Upload VR event taking place at 11 a.m. Eastern, set to showcase upcoming VR titles, which I look forward to. From there, we go to the Summer Games Fest show with big reveals set to be there. This is one of the big shows. It'll take place at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll talk more about this one later on in the video. And finally, to close the day, we have the Devolver digital event happening at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you're not familiar with them, last year they showed off indie hit title Death's Door, samurai indie title Trek to Yomi, hopefully I said that correctly, first person Doom-like shooter Shadow Warrior 3, and a few others. I personally played and enjoyed both Death's Door and Shadow Warrior 3, so I'm looking forward to what's next from this event. Moving on from the 9th, on the 10th, we have Netflix, where they'll be holding their own gaming event with Netflix Geeked Week at 1 p.m. Eastern on the 10th, and here they'll show off Netflix games as well as TV shows and movies based on video game IPs. I'm genuinely curious to see what we get here. Next up on the 10th, we have the Tribeca Game Spotlight going live at 3 p.m. Eastern. Last year they showed off the much loved Kena Bridge of Spirits, pretty cool indie title Lost in Random, which I'll be playing soon. I have it on my list right now. 12 minutes along with other indie titles. And on the 11th, we have the Future Game Show going live at 3 p.m. Eastern, set to show off 40 games as promised by Games Radar, along with new game reveals as well. This show is generally focused on indie titles, just to put that out there. Again, indie titles are awesome. I've played a lot of them in recent memory. Moving over to the 12th, we have another big showcase with the Xbox Bethesda presentation going live at 1 p.m. Eastern, where I hope we'll finally see some actual Starfield gameplay. And to end off the week of events, we have the PC game showcase going live on the 12th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So pretty much right after the Xbox presentation. And that's everything this week, I believe. Let me know if you think I missed anything, but everything will be kicking off this Thursday with multiple events and at least one event every day until Sunday. So it should be fun for everyone. Now, diving into the second story of the video, a new God of War Ragnarok trailer and story news. So let's start off with the story news side of this. Ryan Hurst, the voice behind Thor in God of War Ragnarok, was recently at a Comic-Con Revolution panel where he mentioned that he just did the last little tiny bit of voice recording for Thor, which included some extra dialogue or some re-recordings of already existing things. So we're pretty much there when it comes to launch. They're just doing the final touches, which Cory Barlog again pretty much kind of pointed out earlier this year in April. During that same panel, Ryan also talked about how he got the role of Thor, stating this: "They just offered it to me. The two creators of the game came to my house for about 5 hours and showed me all the artwork and described the story for the entire video game, which was extremely complex and rich in elements. I always like to experiment with new things, so motion capture for a video game was a lot of fun." The focus for me here is the part where he states extremely complex and rich in elements. This sounds like a big story is set to be told in Ragnarok, which of course makes sense since this is the end of the Norse mythology series for God of War. We don't know where Kratos is going to go next. Is he going to go to Egypt? We're not sure, but this is the end of this saga, so I'm not surprised to hear that it's going to be a big complex story, which is exciting, of course, to even read about. Just a nice little bit of news just to keep the excitement going. Moving over to the rumors side of things, a new God of War Ragnarok trailer is possibly set to go live this Thursday at the Summer Games Fest show. This comes from Roberto Serrano, who pinpointed the last date of play before the announcement for June 2nd, as he has with previous events, as I've mentioned in the past. But of course, I'm going to point out he's also been wrong in the past, just to put that on notice. There's, of course, wrong and right. He's not always 100%. I will say it's not crazy for God of War Ragnarok to be there. The state of play Sony just had last week was pretty clear, focused on third-party and VR titles, and at the same time, Sony probably wants to have a presence at the Summer Games Fest show, so dropping a new trailer there isn't crazy, with most likely a focused, dedicated state of play for God of War Ragnarok happening maybe in July, I would guess, with the release date being confirmed for September. We're here either way. We'll find out what happens in just a few days. The Summer Games Fest show goes live on Thursday, but you guys let me know if you think we'll see a new God of War Ragnarok trailer at the Summer Games Fest event or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And now diving into the final story of the video, PS5 input latency update. So this is an update on something we covered not too long ago. Last time we spoke about this, I talked about how it was discovered that input latency on PlayStation 5 was high compared to Xbox for fighting games. More specifically, it seemed to focus on fighting games developed in Unreal Engine. Someone from Epic Games responded to this story back then, stating they're working with Sony to fix it. Pretty much now, Evo, one of the biggest, if not the biggest fighting events, put a formal statement on this input latency work being done, stating this recently on June 3rd over on Twitter. Evo is grateful to share that we have been working with Sony PlayStation, Epic Games, and our developer partners to reduce input latency for many of your favorite fighting games. Please expect more updates to follow as Evo works towards a more responsive future for the FGC. For fighting games, more so than most games out there, response time is very critical to winning a match, so I'm sure many are happy this is being put on blast and in the light by Evo themselves, giving a formal statement with hopefully a fix happening in the near future for most of those important titles. I personally wonder if this improvement for fighting games will transition to better input latency improvements in other Unreal Engine titles, maybe Unreal Engine 5 titles coming up. Input latency is also important for FPS titles, so we'll see how that plays out. But you guys let me know if you play a lot of fighting games or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with "It is events week." There's like multiple events happening this week. I'm excited for most of them. If you are as well, destroy the comment section with "It is events week," and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.